We'd hate to not start on time. I know the old chairman was always really religious about that. Roll call.
Mayor Carlson.
Here.
Mayor Dardis.
Here.
Mayor Mahoney.
Here.
Mr. Breitling. Mr. Hendrickson. Mr. Pepcorn.
Here.
Mr. Ebinger.
Here.
Ms. Kolpak. Mr. Campbell.
Here.
Mr. Capitan. Mr. Grimberg.
Here.
Mr. Steen.
Here.
And Ms. Worgan.
Here.
Quorum is present.
Very good. Before we start, we have something we'd like to give Tony Grinberg, our outgoing chairman. So, Tony, can you go down to the podium so we can embarrass you? So we can honor you.
All right, we'll wait for. We did such a great job this morning as the co-MC of the mayor's event. So the mayors are still smiling, so you must not have offended them too much. 2025 was another exceptional year for the diversion project. We got a lot accomplished, and on behalf of myself and the full Diversion Authority team, we really appreciate your leadership as the chair in 2025. All of the activities, from whether it's getting me onboarded back in February, and all the different times we sat down together looking at priorities, our trips out to DC, and and just keep continuing to move everything along, for whether it's construction, whether it was the work that we did on the settlement agreement, and a myriad of other tasks. So on behalf of the Diversion Authority, we want. One of the key events for you for this year was opening the Red River structure. So we've got a picture of you at that ceremony, really highlighting your impact on the diversion project this year.
Well, thank you, Jason. Credit really goes to you and the team here and the board. As just having the opportunity to be part of this overall project as one member is satisfying, and it's been a great journey that we've been on since 2009 when this started. So, and thank you for accepting the position. I'll leave it at that.
All right, thank you.
So Tony has had the unusual position of a person in many different roles on the diversion. It's interesting to me that really started in the Senate floor, and that's when we almost did not move forward when we were first going out for funding. And what I remember about Tony is we're always asking for money, no matter where we were. But pivotal vote at that time was whether to proceed or not to proceed, and we had to turn some votes to proceed. So even at the infancy of this, you were part of that discussion. And then he was with us when we had this masterful idea, let's switch to a P3 program versus let's do a cost-benefit ratio. And we flipped to that and dropped the cost $300 million. And nobody knew how we could do that after we did that, or how we would drop the $300 million. But we were always told that things will work out. And then I remember we went back to the Corps and said, we need that $300 million back again, because it isn't going to cost us $300 less. But he's been all part of those decisions. And I just always, oftentimes when we would ask for money, it was a question of how much do you ask for? And I give Tony credit for he was always one that was all on the high side. And I never thought the Corps would give us 300. I thought it'd be 250. And we asked for it. And normally when you go to Washington, we think about it, we'll talk about it, we'll do something. And we went to the Army Corps, went into a meeting, sat down with the secretary, ask was asked, and he said yes. I mean, we were just like blown away. It wasn't yes, we'll think about it. It was like, nope, here, you can have it. And then Tony, as he walks out, says, damn, we should have asked for 350. But I want to thank him for the leadership, and thank you, Tony. Bernie was talking about you today, is that thank you for giving me the biggest budget of $1 billion this year, and we appreciate the hard work you did. But you had many trials and issues that came on this last year. Very pleased that you accomplished and did what you needed to accomplish to get us where we are today. And we wouldn't be here if you hadn't done all that hard work. But every chair has had something to do, and I think you're getting this to, the baton is passed, and we're getting close to the finish line. So I appreciate all that hard work. Regular agenda, General Consult update, John Shockley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the Diversion Authority Board. We have a number of items for the annual meeting. that are required to be undertaken pursuant to the Joint Powers Agreement. The first is a resolution confirming the Diversion Authority Board membership, Land Management Committee membership, Finance Committee membership, and the Planning Committee membership. You'll see in your packet that those members and memberships are reflected on Exhibit A, which I believe starts at page 4 of your packet. And you need a motion and a second and a vote to approve it.
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Aye.
Mr. Ebinger?
Aye.
Ms. Kolpak?
Aye.
Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mr. Grimberg?
Aye.
Mr. Steen?
Yes.
And Ms. Morgan?
Yes.
That is everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The next item required under the Joint Powers Agreement is the election of the vice chair. Pursuant to the Joint Powers Agreement, when the chair is from North Dakota, the vice chair has to be from Minnesota. So
And do you have a candidate?
I don't have a candidate. I would defer to the board on who the candidates are.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to nominate Mayor Carlson.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. We can't have any discussion? Okay. Roll call vote.
Mayor Carlson?
Yes.
Mayor Dardis?
Yes.
Mayor Mahoney?
Aye.
Mr. Pepcorn?
Aye.
Mr. Ebinger?
Aye.
Ms. Kolpak?
Aye.
Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mr. Grimberg?
Aye.
Mr. Steen?
Yes.
And Ms. Morgan?
Yes.
That is everyone.
In addition, you're required to elect a secretary for the board, and that has been done historically, and I think the position of the staff has been to continue having Don serve as secretary.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call vote, please.
Mayor Carlson?
Yes.
Mayor Dardis? Yes. Mayor Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Pepcorn?
Aye.
Mr. Ebinger?
Aye.
Ms. Kolpak?
Aye.
Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mr. Grimberg?
Aye.
Mr. Steen?
Yes.
And Ms. Morgan?
Yes.
That is everyone.
And Mr. Chair, the final housekeeping item under the Joint Powers Agreement is the resolution confirming the dates of the meetings scheduled for the Diversion Authority Board, Planning and Finance Committee, and the Diversion Authority Board. You can, of course, adjust them throughout the year, but you're required to adopt an initial calendar at the annual meeting.
Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call vote, please.
Mayor Carlson?
Yes.
Mayor Dardis? Yes. Mayor Mahoney?
Aye.
Mr. Pepcorn?
Aye.
Mr. Ebinger?
Aye.
Ms. Kolpak?
Aye.
Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mr. Grimberg?
Aye.
Mr. Steen?
Yes.
And Ms. Morgan?
Yes.
That is everyone.
Thank you.
2026 Governor's Annual Work Plan. Jason, to discuss.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair, board members. So, as you recall, last fall we approved the governance plan and policy. So, in accordance with that, we've got our annual work plan to continue to review the governance policy on a quarterly basis. So, the work plan starting in March, and then once a quarter, we'll take one of the planning committee meetings and have that focus. Part of the focus of the planning meeting will be reviewing the various governance policy, executive director, board relationship policy, and operational expectations. Initially, I think the draft had that starting in January, but because of the timing of the January Planning Committee and when this annual meeting happens and the actual approval of various between the chair, the vice chair, and board members. So we shifted that so that it's at the end of every quarter, so March, June, and so on. But again, with that, we'll continue to follow the monitoring of those policies in accordance with the governance policy. And I expect that generally it's probably going to be a 15 to 20 minute discussion, maybe a little bit longer if there's something that has changed kind of more strategically after several years. Maybe there are some policies that we decide need to be modified or maybe are no longer useful. But in the next year, having gone through the policy just this last year, I don't anticipate that this first year will have a lot of changes or big discussions.
Very good. Any questions, Jason?
All right, and then, and with that, so that really covers the governance policy. And since we did have some time that we've got the board gathered today, I wanted to touch on our transition from construction to operations and maintenance and all the staff work that'll be going on over this next year. I talked about some of these items back in December to the planning committee meeting. And in the discussion with the planning committee, one of the key things I talked about is when we look at construction, this may not be our biggest year of construction because we've, the last three years we've got a lot done, especially 2024, 2025 with all the bridges that got opened here in 2025, the work on the aqueduct structures. But from a staff and administrative standpoint, 2026 is probably going to be one of our busiest years because we're going to have everything for the project to all the inspection of project components that are completed and turned over to us as it shifts to O&M. All of the financial reviews as we make all those payments as project components are completed and validated after those inspections. And then at the same time, we have to plan for 2027 and so that we're prepared for any potential flood event. So with that, Paul, if you can go ahead to the, so we'll start off. So first, I've set kind of a process forward for our staff to really focus on this transition so that over the next 6 to 12 months, we can really have a good defined plan for that transition because we have to develop, how many people we're going to have employed, what are the key tasks to make sure that we're ready for a flood event and for just the day-to-day operations. So this is the mission for us during our operations and maintenance. Again, focused on all those key tasks and making sure that we're ready to provide flood protection to the benefited area. We're going to do that. My main planning guidance for the transition to the staff is focusing on transition through 2027 and as well as we're knocking out all of the transition from construction to operation and maintenance, we know we're still going to have to deal with the Cheyenne River mitigation and finishing up other mitigation projects and the FEMA PMR physical map revision to get the floodplain remapped, again, looking at 2030 for that timeline for when we expect that to happen. Some of the key tasks that we'll need to accomplish during our transition to operations and maintenance is, number one, being prepared to operate for a spring of 2027 flood. Moving next fall to our administrative building. We're really excited about the progress that's happening on that building, so we'll be moving our whole staff operations out to that. Preparing our 2027 cash budget, which will be the last construction cash budget and will be the transition between construction into operation and maintenance. Beginning the process for the maintenance levy that will cover the operations and maintenance budget starting in 2028. And that's a maintenance levy that's similar to other maintenance levies like what the Water Resource District does for the Cheyenne River diversion currently. Executing all the operations plans for the local infrastructure, the southern embankment, and all those components. And as I mentioned before, on the bottom there, the Cheyenne River mitigation, FEMA, making sure that we're continuing to move those processes along as those are just as critical. And then finally, our end state of where we want to be, we're ready for a spring of 2027 flood, and then by early 2028 have when we've got that maintenance levy, providing that steady stream annually of funds, that we've got 90% of our staff hired and in place, 90% of our equipment on hand, and that we're continuing to move forward with all of our agreements for maintenance, mutual aid assistance, and ready to really go have that transition complete in late 2027, early 2028, from operations truly into the or from construction into the operations and maintenance. Next slide. So to do this, I really took the key things that we have to accomplish and broke them into lines of operation. So those lines of operation are the things that we have to get done to accomplish our mission and those key tasks. So number one is our first line of operation is being able to operate during a flood event. Again, that's what we're here for. That's what the project's here for, is to make sure that we're ready to operate. So those subtasks A through D are the critical things that have to take place to make sure that we're ready for that flood event. The next line of operation is the routine day-to-day, month-to-month, annual maintenance type of activities, mowing the weeds, making sure that the gated structures on the Wild Rice, the Red River, and the inlet can operate mechanically. We've got all of our electrical and communication systems operating, and the maintenance for all of the different components of the project. And so that's kind of that day-to-day, whether it's contracting or hiring employees, new employees to handle those tasks. The next line of operation is our administration. So all the administrative tasks that we have to continue to accomplish throughout day-to-day, year-to-year, through the operations and maintenance, maintaining the activities for the board and the various committees, our financial plan and model, our legal requirements, contracting, and document control. And then the last two are focused with the Cheyenne River mitigation and other mitigation projects, making sure that we're getting those completed in a timely manner, and that they're meeting all of the requirements for our permitting. And then finally, that FEMA certification. Again, this is a huge component to our project. So, just kind of big picture, all of those lines of effort on the left-hand side are lines of operation. They feed in and answer the questions to make sure that we're accomplishing our mission and our key tasks, and that we're accomplishing our end state in that 2028. We're ready to have completed all of the construction, and we've fully moved into operations. To do that, we also have lines of effort. These are the specific tasks or critical activities that have to happen to support our lines of operation. And they're wide-ranging and wide-reaching. Right now we've got 23. We expect we probably will grow a few more of them. So just a quick snapshot. Here's the first 10. Everything from managing all the administrative agreements, moving to the AAB, the financial management, public outreach, GIS, legal, our crop insurance program that we've got to develop, our environmental compliance permitting, all of the MOUs and third-party agreements, making sure we're operating in accordance with all of them, inspections, land management, safety and security. So you can see there's a lot of critical things, and right now we just have 7 full-time employees. Remember that. Everything else is contracted out consultants, and we've got great consultant partners. And after this, we're still going to have a lot of great consultant partners working on the project with us, but we probably will also grow some of our staff. So this is just a made-up example for a line of effort for public outreach. I didn't dive into a specific one, but this is what we're going to build out for each of these lines of effort, and we've got a champion assigned to each of these lines of effort that's an expert in the area that will kind of spell out the key tasks and activities that fall underneath that line of effort, and then from there additional tasks and subtasks that fall under each line of effort. So with public outreach, we've got our web services and online presence. So if you go to the next slide, so then we'll further break down each of the champions. Will further break down the details of a subtask like the website within public outreach, and get into the details of what that entails, what the costs are. So that way we can take multiple subtasks and in some cases multiple lines of effort and put those together, and maybe that is what we use, that is what we can be able to use for building an employee's duty description, so that way we can go out and hire that position. Or it may be a task that is only needed 2 weeks out of the year, and it's a very specific detailed task that's more aligned with what we would contract out for a consultant, and in that case then this information would get inserted into an RFP to be able to go out for proposals to contract with a consultant. So this is just, again, kind of an example of what we're going to be building out for each of the various lines of effort and the subtasks that fall underneath each of those. Each of those lines of effort probably have 3 to 5 additional subtasks. And again, as we go through this, we're going to identify other things that, oh yeah, what about this or that? There's going to be some additional items that will get brought up, and we'll assign champions and build these things out. And we know, there's not going to be a perfect answer to all of this. In some cases, we may think this time next year, yeah, we've got a higher position because all these critical activities that fall underneath it. And, there's a chance that a year or 2 years later, we realize, no, it's not as necessary. Maybe that is something that's better for a consultant. Or, hey, this task that we thought was going to get consulted out can get put in underneath an employee because they've got the skill set to handle that. And that's what this kind of these lines of effort and lines of operations, making sure that we're covering all of our bases for all the different activities that we have to accomplish to make sure we are successful in being prepared to protect our community from a flood. And at the same time, we're doing our due diligence to be prepared for hiring those new staff and having appropriate contracts in place for different activities that are best and most appropriate for a consultant. Timeline, over the next 6 months, we're really going to be diving into the lines of effort and having those champions draft out the descriptions, time allocations, costs, and recommendations of should this be a full-time employee activity or should this be a consultant activity. And by the middle of this summer, finalize that and start to work with HR in developing the pay grade and what the appropriate level of pay should be for those various positions. And then next fall, we expect to be moving into the administrative building, doing our project celebration next fall, and budgeting for the 2027 last year of our construction budget. And then later in the fall and early into the winter, really start honing our standard operating procedures for project operation and start doing rehearsals and having some exercises in place for how we're going to operate during an event, who's pushing the buttons to move gates up and down, how we're staffing, whether it's with a contract or with employees or with our partners and our member entities at Fargo, Cass County, Clay County, and Moorhead to go out and put whether it's a barricade on a road that's got to be closed because it's south of the southern embankment, those types of activities. Those are all the things that we'll be working on late next fall and winter to develop those processes and procedures. And I think I've got one more slide. Then as we move into 2027, we'll continue to do those rehearsals, and so that way by March and April, we're prepared to operate the project and conduct any post-flood operations, and then continue to move through that process after flood season to wrap up any construction and continue our operations and maintenance planning. I think that was the last slide, or is there one more? All right. Okay. All right, with that, I know it was fast and furious, and, for the planning committee members, it's the second time you've heard that, but I thought it would be good to talk through this, as this is a huge effort for 2026 for our team, and we've got a lot of work to do besides getting the project built and finished and ready to go. So with that, I'm definitely open to taking any questions you may have, and this is our last agenda.
Any questions of Jason? Looks good.
All right. Well, thank you.
Do we have any other business? Public comment, Tony, is that what we do now? This opportunity for public comment. If you have anyone would like to speak, please come to the podium. Not seeing any speakers in the audience, I'd assume we don't have any speakers. So our next meeting is July 22nd, 2026. Thank you for your participation. Or January? Yeah, sorry, January. We are adjourned. Thank you.